we have been talking about this issue, and gosh, you share my outrage of it. And a story that I think is actually more important than the BS about mouldy school lunches in Christchurch. Friend of the program, friend of mine, and prominent Auckland publican, mayoral candidate, man about town is Leah Malloy. And 4 years ago, he was convicted for breaching a suppression order in the Grace Mullane murder case by naming the then convicted murderer Jesse Kempson. Many people named Jesse Kempson. His name was widely published overseas, and many people in New Zealand knew who he was. But for some reason, Leo Molloy was the only person prosecuted, even though his ability to spread that through his social media network was smaller than other people who had breached the suppression order. Nevertheless, Mr. Molloy went to court and he took his medicine, I think a fine of around $15,000. And he made suitably contrite statements about how he understood then that he may have interfered with justice. The problem was Jesse Kempson was on trial for other cases, which I think he was also convicted of, and the fear from Crown Law was the publication of his name would prejudice the integrity of those prosecutions. But in any case, 4 years ago, Leo Molloy got convicted of the crime and he did his time. Now we find that 4 years later, and none of you would have known at the time that Leo Molloy was a retired vet. Because the headline wasn't retired vet Leo Molloy convicted of breaching suppression order. But the Veterinary Association, which lists Mr. Molloy as retired, has conducted an investigation into his breach of the suppression order, decided he has brought the profession into disrepute, and decided, though they haven't got a written decision out yet, they're going to censure him and fine him $23,000 in costs. Leo Molloy joins us now. How are you, mate?
Thank you, Sean. I quite like that introduction, actually.
Well, I think did I cover it accurately?
Yeah, you kind of got most of it. I mean, I would have perhaps included the fact that the Herald named Jesse Kempson to their 80,000 premium customers, which is quite a few customers.
Yeah, that's right.
And in addition to that, I mean, you say that I don't have social media reach. We do 3 million reaches a month, 3 million views a month.
4 years ago, Leah? 4 years ago? Did you have that?
Comment, yeah. Okay, that's fair comment. No, I didn't have that at my disposal 4 years ago. But well, I had.
I just think the decision to single you out for prosecution 4 years ago was bloody weird. That's kind of what I was implying. But you paid your fine, right, and you took your medicine, like a man.
Yep.
Okay. When did you become aware? And look, firstly, so you're a retired vet. Are you still a member of the association? Do you pay them dues every year?
Yeah.
How much?
Oh, I think it used to be $650. I think it's about $300 now. I'm retired.
$300. And what benefits, what privileges does being a registered retired vet bring you?
Subject to scrutiny, like as we have in this instance here.
Well, what's the upside? Why are you still a member of the bloody association, Leo?
So I can link up with my colleagues, and they had their reunion.
And your old mates. September. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When were you aware that, and why did the Veterinary Association decide to have an investigation into this, and when did they start it?
So it was a guy called Liam Shields who contacted me in 2021, so 4 years ago, and he said, just be aware that we are looking at following this case and making a decision whether we prosecute you. So I checked, he's actually a lawyer, but he introduced himself to me as a registrar at the Veterinary Council. And it all just followed on from there. They just kept in touch.
Where does he practice his law, Liam Shields?
I presume when you're a registrar at an organisation like the Veterinary Council, that's your job. I presume so.
Okay.
I don't actually know that.
Did he explain, had anyone complained to the veterinary? As I said, the headlines that weren't at the time, retired vet Leo Molloy breaks suppression order. In fact, most people now are saying, I never knew he was a vet.
No, there's no complaints from the council, no complaints from any colleague. It was just this one lawyer decided that he wanted to pursue it.
Well, so it did come from him, from a staff member?
Yeah, from a registrar, yeah.
Jesus.
And the panel was mainly Crown Law prosecutors, so it was headed by a guy called Finlay Biggs, which is an interesting name. Not sure if he's related to the fellow Biggs who was the bank robber from England, but he certainly took a bank robber's approach to relieving me.
Okay, so but what was Finlay Biggs doing? Is he a vet?
No, he's a lawyer.
So what was he doing on the council inquiry?
Well, they handled the entire case over to Crown Law. So I had
what?
a case of
Whoa, back up the bus, Leo.
Yeah.
You investigate a member of your association, you do the investigation. What the F have Crown Law got to do with it?
Maybe that's a question for Finlay Biggs. I wasn't allowed to speak during the hearing on Tuesday. I was just told to be quiet. So I just sat there and listened.
So are you saying that officially the Crown Law Office, which is the law firm which prosecutes on behalf of the Crown, that they handled this investigation?
Yep, and it was all about points of law.
And what's the name of that firm? What's the name of that firm?
I don't know. His name's Finlay Biggs. Have a look.
How do you know that Crown Law were the people who handled it?
Because my lawyer, Quinton Duff, told me.
This is most unusual. I would have thought there would have been a bunch of vets on this inquiry, not Finlay.
Well, no, because no vet complained. There were 2 vets on the inquiry, and they asked 3 questions.
So this is like double jeopardy, though, Leo.
Yeah. But
this is like you were before the courts, and now some lawyers associated with the courts and police prosecutions find an association and kind of corrupt it to have another crack at you.
Yep, that's how I see it. But, my lawyer said it wasn't. He said it was a case of something about the integrity of the industry, something being jeopardised by my actions. But my personal view is they've drawn far more attention to the industry by what...
I think they've brought themselves through this action, and they've brought the association into gross disrepute.
Yeah, and all our friends in Wellington will be monitoring what's going on too, so I expect they'll review the Veterinary Act and put an end to this rubbish.
So Leo, I'm just trying to understand what standing does, and you've been told that you've got to pay the $23,000 that it costs them to have all these lawyers and not vets sit round and pontificate about your behaviour.
Well, it's interesting because Finlay Biggs, who really does like the sound of his own voice, he said that the only comparison he could find to compare me to was lawyer Sue Gray, who was tied up with the anti-vax movement. She named a young girl who had her name suppressed in a case. She named her twice when speaking to the public. So they fined her. They didn't do anything like do registry.
Look, Leo, Finlay Biggs works for Luke Cunningham Clear. I'm not sure if they're a Crown prosecution law firm.
They are, but yeah.
Oh, they are. Okay, so it's Luke Cunningham Clear. This is more and more curious. Leo, what was involved for you just turning up at the hearing last Tuesday?
And it's been dragging on for 4 months, so it's had quite a significant impact on me. I mean, I went through a phase about a month ago when I couldn't sleep, so I thought they were going to strip me of my registration, which would have been humiliating.
But honestly, wouldn't you just give them the middle finger and stay in contact with your old vet mates anyway?
Oh, it doesn't quite work like that, Sean, I mean, there'll be a vet out there listening somewhere. There's not that many from my class. Funnily enough, for the 50 of my class, 45 are alive.
Is Facebook, Leo?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't, yeah.
What do you do? You've got, yeah. Okay.
No, I'm going to say you have a slightly warped view of my Facebook account. I very seldom read it or respond to it. We just
okay, but what I'm saying is you can still catch up with your old mates without being a member of the Vets Association.
Well, there's been 2 or 3 in touch with me over the last couple of days. They've been very supportive. But, yeah, I prefer to be a part of the association.
And in any case, well, look, so they say you have to pay $23,000. What legal ability do they have to make you pay that fine?
I'm not sure about that. I mean, they haven't even given us the written result of the hearing yet, and no doubt someone will be sending a copy of this recording to them, and they'll probably take a more jaundiced view of it, but that's life. But they're going to send us a copy by Christmas, they said, and if they don't get it to us by Christmas, we'll have it by the end of January. And I guess
but this is just reeks of Kangaroo Court, Leo. It's got nothing. Your breach of a suppression order, as I said, you have already faced the courts. You've already taken your message. this has got nothing to do with vets and nothing to do with anything, unless someone's got it in for you, Leo. Unless someone wants to make you pay more because for some reason they've got a gripe against you.
Well, there was no evidence of that when they brought the charge. There was no complainant.
Then
Nothing
it's
was
just
discovered.
Madness. It's just complete madness, Leo.
Yeah, and when you're talking to Mr. Finlay Biggs, if you get him on, I'd suggest you ask him a couple of questions about how you're qualified to be a veterinarian and what criteria you have to meet to get registered every year, because he clearly has no idea, and I couldn't be bothered correcting him during the hearing. So.
But he's a staff member for the association.
No, he's contracted to the association. Liam Shields was a staff member. There's 2 vets that I know of who work
Okay, and
at
is Liam Shields a vet or a lawyer?
a lawyer.
Do you know who the chief executive of the Vets Association is?
No, but you can Google it up, or I can Google it up. One of us can, if you really want me to.
Okay, all right. I just thought you might want to know who's head of the organisation that you so desperately want to belong to, Leo.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I don't know who it is, but yeah.
You don't? Okay, all right. Well, we will chase this down. Meantime, are you going to pay them the $23,000? Is this over?
Well, based on the advice of another barrister who contacted me, he said, "You are effing mad. That's out of control." You know, he wants me to review it, so let's just let them get the little epistle to us, tell us how tough they are, tell us how they'll find me and how long I've got to pay.
Oh, come on, Leo. You know who you pissed off. You must have pissed off someone for this to happen.
Well, I don't know. No, they haven't named anyone. So, and in fact, they went out of their way to say that there was no complaint. There was just a complaint manufactured by this lawyer, Liam Shields, or something his name is, I think.
Wow. And God, if they can do it to you, it feels slightly BSA-ish.
Yeah, well, there's been 14 lawyers struck off or dealt with in an appropriate manner in the last 4 or 5 years that I know of, but there's never been a vet before. But, I mean, I know, I'm going to tell you this, and I shouldn't tell you, but I'm going to. One of my colleagues from my year made a serious allegation of sexual misconduct against a senior male vet when she was, I better not tell you where she was working, after she graduated. And a well-known cop just shrugged his shoulders and said, "Deal with it." So she went to the Vet Council thinking they'd deal with it. And they turned her down too. They said, "Look, it's just life. You just got to get used to it."
Wow.
So that's pretty bad. But I didn't bring her name out because she didn't give me consent to do that. But
yeah,
but we keep in touch, so maybe that'll become a factor at some stage.
It's a bloody curious story, Leo. It really is. Could I also ask you? A number of people are texting me saying, "Ask them about the police and the SCOTUS."
Oh yeah, so we've pulled that story. That was funny. Fucking lawyers. The lawyer come to see me the other night and he said, "I've got a story for you, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Are you sure?" He goes, "Yeah, absolutely sure." So he said, "What are your sources?" I said, "They are impeccable." So we put the story up on the social media. And I went back to him Tuesday night and I said, "Are you absolutely sure about this?"
Yep. Okay, no, okay, no, that's all right. Let's not go any further if it didn't pan out. That's why you should leave journalism to the journalists, Leo.
We pulled the story, but he named journalists involved, he named everybody involved, but we decided that it was more appropriate, having seen an email from the police saying they were aware of the story, and their view was that it didn't happen. So that if the police say it didn't happen, that'll do me.
Oh, mate, well, you've just seen that Costa's walked away with, between 100 and 200 grand, and, that's all been...
I don't know what Costa's going to get, but, I mean, do you know Costa? Have you met him?
Once, I think, yeah.
How did he ever get the job?
Well, because he was the mate of Jacinda Ardern's.
Well, I want my police to be old-school style policemen. I want them to be staunch, and if they look at a robber and point a gun at him, or a robber points a gun at him, they've got reason to be scared. But yeah. Andrew Costa, seriously? With a handshake like his? Seriously?
Leo, good luck with this. I think people are vitally interested. But I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Some of your responses today haven't made entire sense either.
Well, which ones? Tell me.
Why do you want to be a member of the Vet Association so desperately?
Well, it's not desperate. I just pay up every year, and I retired 2 years ago because I couldn't fulfil my they have a thing called continuing education, which is part of re-registering, which is something Mr. Biggs did and sent
And you must know, because this is so bizarre, you must know who's coming for you and why.
Well, honestly, Sean, there's no one coming for me. It was a registrar.
When someone gives you a 23 grand fine on a completely spurious complaint that they made up, and there are a whole lot of lawyers involved, I think someone's coming for you.
Well, if you can find out, please let me know, because I don't believe that's true. I believe the lawyer we said, who's made the complaint? Who's upset about it? He said, no one. What do you mean no one? He said, it's just me.
So you just think it's an incompetent idiot given free
Do
rein?
you want me to send you the email?
Yeah, do that. Do that.
The original email, yeah. Okay.
All right, mate.
But now, Sean, before you go, though, tell me what else I've been...
Well, I just feel like there is more to the story, or there must be more to the story.
As I said, ring Finlay Biggs and ask him, put a list of questions to him and get him to answer them. I mean, he only really argued points of law during the 4-hour hearing, of which 2 hours was taken for time off for a cup of tea and for lunch. Yep. So I don't think Mr. Finlay Biggs had a very good grasp on the veterinary profession at all. And the compare and contrast analysis was so great.
So why did you even take part in this kangaroo court? That's kind of what the mystery is to me.
Because I was told by my lawyer that if I didn't appear, he said, you don't have to appear, but if you don't appear, they will take a more aggressive view, and that'll be reflected.
And what could they have
fine.
done, Leo? See, this is the thing. What could they have done? Deregistered you? So frickin' what?
Well, if I worked 7 years to get those letters after my name, so I put a value on them. They're important to me.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Let's talk again about this. Thank you very much for your time this morning. Oh, by the way, have any mainstream media followed up the story or wanted to interview you?
Yes, I did a short piece with Heather Duplessis Allen, and I've had a keen interest from the Herald, and someone rang. All the media have been ringing about it, but I choose not to speak to most of them. So.
Good on you. Good on you, Leo. Thank you for your time, mate.